Hello, my name is Tate, and for my Interpersonal Communications final, in today's video, I'm going to be focusing on the interpersonal communications aspect of Link and Zelda's relationship from the Legend of Zelda series. Specifically, since Tears of the Kingdom is just around the corner as I am writing the script, I decided to focus on the Workspace relationship of Link and Zelda in Breath of the Wild. So, what is interpersonal communication exactly? Well, interpersonal communication is an exchange of information between two or more people. It is also an area of research that seeks to understand how humans use verbal and nonverbal cues to accomplish a number of personal and relational goals. There are many different forms of interpersonal communications, and in Breath of the Wild, I noticed that working relationships best suit this pair of Triforce holders. Even if Link doesn't hold the Triforce of Courage in this Zelda game specifically. Let's start with Link's background. Link's background in Breath of the Wild is yet another mysterious past for the chosen hero. Born into a line of knights in the countryside, Link has no real recorded history of his family. What we do know is that he is very skilled with a sword and bow, able to combat and absolutely wipe the floor of grown knights at the age of 4. Along with his immeasurable talent, he was able to draw and wield the Master Sword at around the age of 12 to 13. Since he wasn't born into nobility, he wasn't really affiliated with the royal guard. So how exactly did he get such a high level to eventually becoming the princess's personally appointed knight? Well, one day, a group of researchers were under attack from a guardian that had gone haywire during a test run. Link immediately sprung into action and stopped the guardian, gaining the attention of a lot of people, including the king who was present. Impressed with his skill and power, the king promoted Link to becoming Zelda's personal knight. Something to mention here from a quote from Nintendo's Creating a Champion book: "With no regard for his personal safety, he loyally fulfilled his duty to guard Princess Zelda with his life," end quote. We're gonna save this for later. Now Zelda. Zelda has an interesting past in this iteration. Usually, Zelda is known for her magical abilities and her connection to the goddess Hylia. However, this Zelda has no connection to her powers. She is rather studious and a scholar, working to study the ancient Sheikah technology to make up for her lack of being able to fulfill her destiny. I want to interject here and mention the work relationship of her and her father also happened to be the King of Hyrule. Understanding that this is a monarchy, I think it would still be interesting to put ethics into such an old workspace, considering we don't see these much in today's world. Something that we see placed on Zelda is that he displays unethical communication forms, the main two being coercive and destructive communication. He abuses his power over Zelda, telling her what she can and cannot do, stressing and wording that he is doing it as King of Hyrule, not as her father at times, which gives him authority to run her life as he sees it. He even goes so far as to restrict her wants to study ancient relics to force her to unlock her powers. He also refuses to listen to reason with her, not wanting or taking into her perspective. This also ties to his destructive nature, continuously disrespects Zelda's academic values over what he thinks is best. He finds her wanting distracting, not productive towards the greater good of her people, treating her like a child even as she grows over the 10 years since she has been forced to start her training. We see this unethical leadership also become placed on the Link. Going back to Link and Zelda. As we know, Zelda had not had the best role model for an ideal ethical leader. This also doesn't help that when Link got promoted as Zelda's personal knight, it was again a decision made by the king, without Zelda's opinion. With Link, a prodigy and having found his destiny at such a young age, having to be paired with what was rumored to be, quote, a princess to a throne of nothing, end quote, there is a lot of tension between the two. Zelda is quick to host a toxic work environment, becoming one of the 6 problem bosses as seen through Hard and Fritz's research back in 2002. Zelda can be found to display self-centered task-maker traits. She wants to work independently, and in turn is usually cold, harsh, and harasses Link on multiple occasions as a result. She even finds ways to run away from Link, making his job more difficult and unreasonably hard. This goes on for what can be seen as a rather large period of time. However, since there are no distinct dates, it would be safe to say this goes on for at least a large handful of months. Link endures Zelda's harassment, for whatever reason, without reporting her behavior. What Zelda may think in her defense for her actions are that she is doing nothing in particular to harm Link directly. Her boundaries have been ignored by the king, and she is restricted from doing what she wants, rather being forced to do whatever the king says. Having Link by her side is that constant reminder, along with the Master Sword he carries with him. Zelda thinks that Link must despise her for her being unable to unlock the power she possesses to defeat the calamity, and she takes it out on him since he never talks or expresses any emotion. except for one day when she was feeling so depressed and frustrated from her studies that she snaps at Link, yelling at him with no restraint, which caused him to look at her with concern. Seeing this reaction made Zelda realize that what she was doing to her subordinate, which made her feel guilty and even more upset as a result. After the altercation, and before Zelda can even think to apologize for what she had done, there was an assassination attempt on her. However, Link had wasted no time to throw himself in front of Zelda, protecting her and serving his duty. This action shocked Zelda, seeing him put his own life on the line so easily after everything she had done to him without a second to think. She realized that what she had been doing in treating Link was wrong, and wanted to make it up to him, and also to get him to talk. This implies to me that she had never really spoken to him in a sense that she wanted to actually have a conversation with him, but more to talk/yell at a brick wall. After this, the process of Zelda and Link opening up to one another can be mirrored by Byron Lee's 5-point strategy to mindful intercultural interactions. Number 1. Non-judging. Zelda gets Link to open up, and as the two start to conversate with each other, Link explains why he doesn't speak ever. To quote from Zelda's diary in the game, "With so much at stake and so many eyes upon him, he feels it necessary to stay strong and to silently bear any burden." End quote. Presence. After listening to him, Zelda feels guilt for the way she had treated him, finding more in common with each other than she could have ever thought before. Perceived thoughts and treatment no longer felt justified. 2. Acceptance. Zelda offers herself to be a space where Link can speak freely without judgment or pressure. Empathetic concern. Zelda understands that they both are weighed down with unfathomable responsibility, and that they both feel uncertain if they are worthy enough for the role that they are destined to play. 3. Beginner's mind. Zelda, bit by bit, opens Link up and finds out more personal stuff about him, like how he is a glutton, and his love for eating will have him eat literally anything, including rocks. Yes, he actually eats rocks. This is a thing that you can see in the game. 4. Non-striving. As much as Zelda despised and resented Link for his natural talent and skill, Zelda understood it wasn't her fault for the way she was in comparison. Patience. As best she can, Zelda tries to come to her own terms, that she will grow in her own time even if she still doubts herself with every passing day. 5. Compassionate action. Zelda and Link speak freely to one another, both expressing their feelings in a space where it is safe for them to do so. 6. Letting go. Zelda lets go of her jealousy and misled anger towards Link. Okay, I want to go back to the quote that I mentioned earlier in the video. There's a point that the excerpt was taken that Link just lays down his life for Zelda. Well, in the game, this is literally quite true. Link dies protecting Zelda once the calamity had struck and hell was unleashed upon Hyrule. After all the building the two had done with each other, and the support and foundation that was built, Link lays down his life and fights until the very end for Zelda. A display of true heroism and showing his loyalty and dedication to the cause. Whether or not he would have done it if Zelda was still harsh and rude towards him, like before the assassination attempt, I think that this signifies a true bond of friendship and how the strength of a healthy bond with people can have an effect on others. And his sacrifice wasn't for nothing. After Link sacrifices himself and falls, Zelda finds the strength to unlock her powers, saving Link's fallen body, and has him taken to the Shrine of Resurrection as she holds off the calamity all on her own until Link is well enough to join her, which is where it leads to the beginning of the game 100 years later. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how to send this off. I don't want to say that if you are a good enough boss to your employees, they will literally die for your cause. But hey, I mean, it worked out for Zelda, I guess. But knowing how Link just might be an adrenaline junkie in general, with how many crazy stunts he had to pull in the game, I feel like he would have protected her regardless. I do, however, have to give applause to Zelda for growing past what her father, the king, had set her up to be. She was grown under so many constraints, and as a result didn't know how to host a healthy workspace on her own. She didn't know how to treat Link as an equal, but learned that she was hurting him while he was just doing his job. A job that, in all honesty, probably didn't have much to say in. Sure, he agreed to the job, but the king, once again, was the one who offered it. And we all know that Link burdened himself with the thought that because he had found his destiny so early in life, he had to silently bear whatever expectation and responsibility that was laid upon him as a result. It's great that we have a sense of how Link and Zelda interact with each other here, treating this more of a workspace, since unlike any other games, Link and Zelda grow to be more like friends. Here, they only know each other from work, and as a result, their friendship grew from that later on, although sadly not for very long. With that being said, we are now at the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember to take care, stay safe, drink some water, and I'll see y'all again very, very soon. Good night!